snowballing.
Yeah.
That it was difficult to pull off. So here we go, jumping into the land of dawn. Match point in the grand final for the Philippines, wanting to take this title from Indonesia from last year in Bali. Can they pull it off?
This is tough. A championship, a defending title on the line. How will Indonesia? Will they see a chance to recover? A lot of ways that we can actually see the opportunity in their lineup. This execution will actually matter. Unigo trying to poke on Moreno with the aid of Arcangel, trying to peel them off slowly. Using that retribution, Super Ken secures his purple.
Thanks for the heals, by the way. So he grabs that, but this is what you expect, right? The Valier did the same thing in the previous games. When it was locked in, you're just trying to poke down, to put pressure, especially around the buffs. You see them utilizing that, the kit, the burst fireballs, right? And it also, the thing about it too is the fact that when you have this buff, which you shouldn't technically have, it allows you to do a little bit more than you should. The pressure there is going to help them scale with this early game, right? 30 seconds away from this turtle. It's great if no one goes down for the first blood before it so they can actually battle it out. But looking at these, who has the level 4? They need the level 4 advantage. Moreno could be in trouble.
Saison is on level 4. Moreno could actually be taken down here. Stun and a taunt. Arcangel takes first blood.
As I was saying, man, right before the turtle, it would be great if none of the teams had the first blood, because then you can really contest this one and start the pace, start the momentum for your team. But with Moreno going down, he's gonna need a little bit longer. Doesn't have the level 4 yet, right? Doesn't have the ultimate. Poking in the XP lane, fighting for the turtle. Might just be better. Give this up to the Philippines. Let them take it. Let's see if we can find something elsewhere.
Astral Echo was trying to make a poke out of the last hit onto the turtle up top.
Saken
falls down. Off-cam kill, Ricatiano and Arcangel with the aid in the gold lane. Rotating quickly, Arcangel on this first item pickup. Elegant Gem and the boots. He's getting busier by the minute.
It's deja vu. Arcangel, 2 kills in, nearing that 3-minute mark. He just needs one more, and he's literally the same situation he was in the previous game. And what does that do for him? It helps him scale really well. He's almost done with his Clock of Destiny, which is a scaling item on someone like Farsa. It gets really scary dealing with that burst damage with the Feathered Airstrike. So Indonesia, they gotta slow it down a little bit, right? This early on, you're already down 1.5k gold. You have to be able to buy time. Especially the fact that, yeah, Saken on this Clint pick, he's going to be a little susceptible to ganks, right? You really have to be able to watch out for him. So with that, that was it. That was being picked up. The Clock of Destiny locked in here.
Good taunt there. Super Ken being in control. Use the force of Turner's Puissance. And we have the Feather Airstrike poking and bursting him down. He's peeled. Now he's forced to take on his own jungle camp objectives. Meanwhile, down bottom, Cannon and Cerezo using that vengeance to slip out of the area. Ricatiano take it down Saken. Now action is up top. 4 members of the Philippines here. Vin coming in from the phase. And now Vin flickers out for safety. Philippines trying to gain additional coverage in the first 4 minutes of the game.
This is complete control in the early game right now. The Philippines, they are unrelenting. They don't want to let up at all. And this is exactly what you have to do when you have this lineup, right? You want to scale in really quickly. You want to be aggressive when you have the Valier. You're looking for these stuns. Indonesia, they're looking to make a play on the top side. They get the flicker out. Look at the Searing Torrent. Pushes them back. That's the power of a Valier right there.
Debuff, push back, and also knock up from this hero alone.
Valier. He pays dividends in dealing with a lot of that initiation, right? That's why you pick him up.
A growing threat, a problem. They would need to answer with the magic defense item early on. This first 5 minutes, Philippines secures another objective in this first 5 minutes of the game.
So with that, 2 turtles in. They further the gold lead that they have. Economy going way in the favor of the Philippines at this point. First item's already pretty much being picked up. On to the second. Indonesia needs time to build back up here. They have to be able to choose their own fights, but at what cost and at what pace do they go for? Here, it looks like they want to go for Cannon.
Cannon receiving the asshole echo, that's the poke, using that final way to evade that momentum. Arcangel flickers out for safety, using one of his own passives to escape the possible takedown. Socken, though, taking on the turret up top, down bottom.
Okay, still finding anything they can. Indonesia still trying to get on the board here. That's the problem, right? They need a kill. We still have one turtle left. And if they can actually contest it, it would be great for their favor. They're starting to get to the point. Big part of it is, do we at least have our first item? Do we have, are we building towards that second? Oh, final slash.
Final slash doing the work for Philippines. Forced out, a last insanity out of Cerezo. Now he's forced into his own defense.
Flicker too.
Back in the turret, Super Ken Moreno tries to clear this up. Saison being taunt, using the taunt onto Super Ken, trying to poke him down. Present for the purple and the orange damage, using the torch persons to slow him down. Ken on the other hand, they're ready for reinforcement. They back away. Indonesia respecting the damage in the first minute. But 6 minutes in, Philippines rotating quicker, trying to contest this hurdle. Meanwhile, top Cannon, though, clearing more of the minions in.
And here we go, right? Third turtle almost up. They might look to contest it. Mid lane gonna be the focus here, though.
Moreno dropping down low. He could be in trouble. Cannon, though, on level 9, closely getting another attribute for damage. Philippines still a slow engage. No skirmishes at Raisu.
This is probably just another turtle in the hands of the Philippines, unless Super Ken comes through here for Indonesia. He's got to do it. He's trying to get the vision, won't be able to get it. Now gets collapsed on. He might, yeah, he has to use the ultimate. So another resource down. That's 3 for 3 for the Philippines. If they wanted to end the game in this game 4, they're well on their way for it. The gold lead's starting to build up. You can see a lot of this hesitation from Indonesia, but that's honestly what they have to do. You're so far behind in the early game.
We can't blame them. They need defense.
You have to build it. You have to build it back up. You have to choose your fights.
Speaking of fights, though, Super Ken might drop low. Recreano securing the kill onto Indonesia. Cerezo receiving damage, being pushed back by the searing torrent. Cerezo now, no Firaga armor, is now being denied to use that ult, but the Praetor Stride right connecting onto the damage. Saison with the pokes, Moreno trying to push out more, but the peel is not enough yet. But with the push and the turret takedown, Philippines slowly advancing. 3 turrets down for Indonesia.
Berserker's Fury being picked up here for Rectiano on that Irithil. As I was saying, it takes time to build up, but when you have this kind of early game to mid-game transition for the Philippines, it happens a lot sooner, right? And at the same time, he's only got 3 of the items that he needs. If he gets that 4th one, it's really going to start to hurt. And this is, once again, when we look back at the MVP performances from the Philippines for Recutiano, the team allows him to be in this environment, to get to this point, and it will really start to shine as we get further into the game. You can see them really focusing now, their eyes set on these tier 2 turrets. Again, Indonesia doesn't have much space to work with, only 1 turret down. They're kind of forced to stay on the defensive here on this side of the base. Another tier 2 falls in the bottom lane.
Still a slow start. Feather airstrike, Arcangel trying to take down. Successfully, Super Ken falls down. Eyes on the mid lane. Philippines looking to clear up more in the turret defenses. Going back to your thought there, Irithel, is Irithel now completely a force, a complete damage tool by just pushing around the map?
She doesn't really, like, that's the thing though. Like for Indonesia, that's just one problem, that you're dealing with at this point. Now it's the Lord being just taken freely by the Philippines. So you're back to this. Backs against the wall. We have to defend. We want to extend this series. We can't lose it here for Indonesia. Do we have what it takes to actually defend against this? Yeah, well, yeah, it's only the first Lord. We should be able to clear it rather quickly, right? Yep. But right now, Sakin, he needs more time. Clint, and if you guys noticed from the draft, there was a lot of bans here focused on the gold lane, and there's a reason for it. You don't have these heroes that get picked up quite often to clear these lanes, to be on the defensive and handle these situations as well. Clint just needs a little bit more time. Berserker's Fury being picked up. That's a great step in the right direction. So Rizzo just getting his Ice Queen wand. So now at least some of that slow here can help deviate the Philippines a little bit. But this is where it really matters. Losing the tier 2 turrets, holding on to these last 3 in your base. Lord still making its way here in the bottom lane. This is where Indonesia has to step up. They have to be able to defend.
Is this go time for Indonesia? Astral Echo being placed on Super Ken. He's trying to get out the pulse of damage. Ricardiano has on target. He's now pushed back to base to regen. Still no casualty though, still safe. But 3 ultimates used by Indonesia to defend that wave and to defend a possible takedown by Philippines.
Rather successful defense, right? Again, it was only the first Lord. They should be able to clear it up pretty well. They picked up some key items for them as well. This helps them in the fighting department. Is it enough though to actually deal with a contention when the next Lord comes up? Probably not yet, right? They're still working down 9,000 gold deficit. And you can see it here. Super Ken could be in trouble.
Super Ken being chased down by Unigo, being chased down Ricardiano. Look at the damage. He can't do much. He now is on cooldown. 20 seconds for Super Ken to retrieve and recall back. 4 members left to defend. Look at the damage. This is a complete destruction. Look at that cannon. Vengeancing on through. Moreno used the Feather Airstriker arc on to their defense. Arcangel, and that is a pause.
Okay, there's a lot happening there before we take this little breather, right? One thing to note, Sakin did get a kill. He got one there, but my main question is, are they running out of time, right? Is the clock ticking here? Of course it is, because they're down so much gold. And at this point in the game, the Philippines kind of has a couple options. You know, do they actually want to go and just end this even without, let's say, securing the next Lord? There's a possibility for that. You know, or they could go and focus it, and then Indonesia's up to decide, do we want to contest this or do we just want to defend? And I think either way, you have to weigh your options there. But at this point, again, with Sakin in basically disparity of damage because he's only got the Endless Battle, and I believe, yeah, he just picked up that Berserker's Fury. It's tough for him. You know, it's tough for him to really provide some of that damage, not to mention when there's the threat, the ongoing threat of final slash from Cannon. If he decides to just kind of go in, especially when the flicker is available, final slashes Sakin completely in the place that he doesn't want to be because positioning is crucial, that could turn the tide of that fight already in a split second, just like that. This is a relatively low kill game, right? These teams are sizing each other up for the most part. We're almost 12 minutes in here.
Oh,
Unigo did die, yes, yeah. He went down, but still, that's what I'm saying. Like, even then, you're still working from nearly 10,000 gold deficit. Before we jumped in this game, we were like, we've seen crazier things, right? We've seen turnarounds.
Crazier comebacks.
For the playoffs, yeah, turn around, 10,000 gold behind, something amazing happens in your base, and then, you know, it flips over. That's what Indonesia is hoping for, which really comes down to, once again, Sakin's got to stay alive. He's got a couple ways to stay alive. He's got Flicker. He's got the bola, he can move back a little bit. But it's even up to the team. Like, how much peel do you actually have to keep your gold lane alive?
Speaking of peel,
Malefic Roar. That's great.
3-level XP gap against Ricardiano. 3-level gap against Sakin. Damage by just his own basic hits. Movement speed-wise, he's quicker, he's agile, he's mobile. Quickly escape possible takedowns, but now they need more damage. That was a good point that you were trying to mention about the items. Right now, it's not really ready for Indonesia to have this way of managing a team fight.
Yeah.
So they're respecting the damage of Philippines right now and looking for possible ways to have a pickoff.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick look at the items here while we wait for this Lord to spawn. As we were saying, Sakin needed time to build up. He's gotten the time. Indonesia has done that, right? He's got the 3 items that he needed. He picked up the Malefic Roar. That is a key component to this fight. But still, as we take another breather, it's gonna really depend on this push. How they're able to deal with this Lord. They gave it up. That was actually the smart decision. Give up the Lord. We don't want to contest it, because at that point, if they actually did have a member or two go down, that would almost be the game with this type of lead. So you're forced, if you're Indonesia, to just give that up, take a deep breath, get ready for this defense.
Well, speaking of defense, let's check back on how will they defend a team fight. Looking back on the items, we have Immortality for Sorizo. We have Damage, the one who is also with an advantage is the Clint. We have Endless Battle, we have Berserker's Fury, we also have Malefic Roar. You were talking about the defensive or the defense department. That was the Radiant Armor also present for Super Ken, but mostly on Moreno, and for the Mage Shearers is mostly on the offensive ones. So this is a tight defense. This is a tight stronghold that they can actually establish up against Philippines.
Which is crucial, right? Again, as we wait to get back into the game here, it's up to Indonesia. If they want to extend the series, if they want to fight to retain that title from last year's championship at Bali, this is what it comes down to. And it's just because of the fact that you were at such a gold deficit for the majority of this game. You have to work back from it. We've seen great base defenses before, down this much. This is literally what we talked about before the draft even started, or before this grand final started. There's always the opportunity for teams to turn it around. And now that they have their items, like we said, my biggest thing is, if you're looking at Indonesia, where do you start? Where do you start this successful defense for your team? And that is number one, what does Moreno get for an ultimate?
Who do you pick?
What
Who
does
do you
he
pick
pick
against Philippines?
Exactly. Not only that, most likely the feathered airstrike, right? Because you want some of that burst damage. But let's say he gets the final slash himself and they're somehow able to outplay the Philippines. That is a possibility that we only can wait to basically see unfold. It's up to them how they want to approach that fight. And at the same time, you know, the downside of Novaria, when you're this far behind and you're trying to defend your base, is really you're kind of just sitting around your crystal. You're sitting at the base or the fountain even, and just trying to shoot shots off, right? You're trying to just whittle down, but even that, you don't really have the items you need. Again, you only have the Clock of Destiny. You only have the Lightning Transient, right? You don't have that many tools yet. So that's the thing. Again, can you buy enough time for everybody to get to where they need to be, to at least match the Philippines in terms of itemization?
Yeah.
That's where it gets really hard in terms of defending this.
That's the mission. If they want to take this to game number 4, they need to have the right targets. They need to have the right isolation. How will they divert? How will they divert Philippines? How game number 1 went was totally in their favor. Game number 2, we have a recovery. We've seen recovery from both of these two teams having the same chance, 1-1. But looking at this lineup, even by this defense, a lot of things can be speculated, but now we return to the game.
Here we go. Once again, Lord has not marched in just yet. Philippines is managing these waves the best they can. Lord now will be making its way down the mid. They're gonna go ahead and wait for that. Indonesia has to hold on to these turrets if they can. Is it going to happen? They'll have their work cut out for them. They have to be able to displace or at least react to what the Philippines is about to do to possibly end the series here.
Saison starting to fight Super Ken, dropping down low. Cannon takes down one. Sorisa trying to hold in upon. Saison Regadiano, the damage is now in. The base is too open. Now Philippines is now taking the base of Indonesia. Remember their names. Regadiano, Saison, Cannon, Arcangel, and Odigo are your 15th IESF MLBB World Champions!